First, we will go to the Ingredient File Editor. Click the Edit Ingredient File tab. Click Edit Current File from the File group. This retrieves information into the Ingredient File Editor. The name of the ingredient file loaded into the editor is shown here. The view we are seeing of the ingredient file is like a large table or spreadsheet. The first column displays the name of each ingredient. As I scroll to the right, the headings shown in the yellow row at the top are referred to as properties. Properties are items such as added sugars. The added sugars column holds the added sugars content of each ingredient. Notice that none of the cells are blue, so you cannot enter information directly in the cells. If you try to type in a protected cell, you will get the following error message. The ingredient editor displays a description for each ingredient and each ingredient's information. The total number of properties in the ingredient file are shown here, and the total number of ingredients are shown here. Any added ingredients are placed in alphabetical order in the editor. The next three columns are the properties, volume choice, source information, and price. The volume choice property determines how density is expressed. Density is the weight per volume. It is crucial to know the density of some ingredients, especially if we wish to enter a volume amount in a recipe or report a volume amount. Why is this? The industry standard for calculating recipe amounts is on a weight basis. This means that the application will calculate the weight of an ingredient in a recipe. If we wish to report a volume amount, then we must convert the weight to a volume using the ingredient's density. Here is an example. Suppose we have 10 pounds of an ingredient, and 1 gallon of the ingredient weighs 5 pounds. We wish to express the amount in gallons. This figure shows the equation. Notice that the pounds cancel out. 10 pounds of ingredient corresponds to 2 gallons. Whenever we obtain a new shipment of these ingredients, the fat and total solids content may not be the same as the last shipment. Fat is lighter than water. This is why cream rises to the top if milk is not homogenized. If the fat content is higher than the last shipment, then the weight per volume is less, which means the density value is lower. This means a given weight of this cream will have a higher volume. TechWizard can use an equation based on the fat and total solids content of dairy ingredients, such as milk or cream, to estimate the density. This makes things much easier. We can quickly update the amount of fat and solids for our ingredient, and TechWizard determines the density for us. Here are the options for setting volume choice. 0 means we have not provided a density, and we do not wish to deal with volume amounts for this ingredient. 1 means the density is estimated using the USDA density calculation for dairy liquids. 2 means the density is provided by the user. 3 means the density is estimated using the mixed density equation, which is appropriate if our ingredient is a liquid containing ingredients such as sugar. As we will see, the user can add properties using the ingredient editor. This is a very powerful tool. Properties that always appear in the ingredient editor are referred to as default properties. For example, volume choice, source of information, and price are all default properties. Scroll left through the list of properties. Notice that ASH has the designation, default spec, displayed here. This means that this property will always appear in the ingredient file editor. The user can add properties. For example, you may wish to add a text property called supplier, so that you can add the name of the supplier for each ingredient. This is considered a non-default property, since it was not part originally of the ingredient file. ASH, and the properties that follow it, are designated as default properties. If the user adds a new property, it is always displayed in the editor before the property, ASH. Let's scroll to the end of the property list. The last three properties are ingredient declaration, bulky item, and reference number. The bulky item property is only allowed to be set to yes or no. It has a special purpose, and it works hand in hand with volume choice. We mentioned that TechWizard can estimate the density of an ingredient based on its total fat and solids content. For the density equations to work, the ingredient must be a liquid, where everything in it is dispersed. Marking an ingredient as bulky means it will not dissolve in a liquid. For example, chocolate chips do not dissolve when added to ice cream. That means its bulky item property is set to yes. However, cocoa powder does disperse in an ice cream mix, so the bulky item property is set to no. Ingredients with the bulky item property set to yes should have the volume choice property set to either 0 or 2. None of the other options are appropriate.